Have you thought about investing? There are a few ways that you can invest in real estate, even if you've never done it before. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've done and what I plan on doing, but I'm going to give you 3 options first. Option number 1, rentals. There's 2 ways you can rent. You can split those a lot of ways too, but the first one is your long-term rental. You will need a property management company unless you manage for yourself. Do not recommend unless it's just 1, maybe 2 properties and you don't have a whole lot else going on. It can keep you pretty busy. To buy a property, you want to get with a trusted realtor, find a good deal in a good area, and remember, get the deal. Don't worry so much. Just look at your numbers, see if it's going to income produce. Rentals are doing pretty well right now, but they cost a little more. So do a little math, get your realtor to help you so that you can find the property that works for you. The other way that you can do a rental is with a short-term rental. That's actually where I am right now. So I manage short-term rentals. That's Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, independent booking sites as well. I'm in one of the units that I manage right now. Now I manage them. They're short-term rentals, but I don't own any yet. We'll talk about that in a minute. So those are the ways that you can rent. You can typically earn more profit with a short-term rental if you look at your numbers appropriately. A lot of markets are really oversaturated right now. You may hear, oh, it's a gold rush, and it did used to be. I've been doing it for 8 years. It's not so much anymore, so make sure you study your area. Definitely get with someone who has a lot of experience managing, not someone with the less than a year under their belt. Absolutely not. You need the experience to do a good job. Promise you that. Number 2, house hacking. This one's pretty fun and something that I'm thinking about doing in the future. House hacking is when you purchase a house that has multiple bedrooms and you use the master suite to put your house manager in, and they are required to bring in the money from all of the other renters, enforce the house rules, and that way you can maximize your income for a long-term rental. Now, one really smart way to do this, which I plan on doing when I have a graduate next year, we're going to buy a house for him near campus so that he can house hack and he can be the house manager. And as he ages, gets older and more responsible, that can be a property that he can use for income. But I'll start out being the one that makes the income to begin with. So college students, great idea. If one of them is yours, a really smart way to start out with investing a second property, an investment property. Number 3, flips. Doing a flip is not for the faint of heart. This is where you buy a rundown, beat up, something that you bought from a tax lien or that you bought in foreclosure. Get with your trusted realtor, find a good deal. Now, this is where it's important to actually make a good deal because you're going to invest a lot in order to fix it up. So you're buying a pig, you're throwing some lipstick on it, but it's got to be structurally sound too, because you can actually get in trouble for not taking care of structural issues and just hiding them and covering them up. That is a big no-no. So if you're going to be a flipper, make sure that you're doing a good job and you are working with professionals. Okay, so those are great ways that you can invest in your second property. You can do rentals, long-term or vacation rentals. You can do house hacking where you share a household with multiple roommates long-term, or you can do flips. I think they all sound fun. Now I'm going to break down the Airbnb part for you, the short-term rental, because that is what I do. Now there are 3 ways to do short-term rental. Of course, there's a lot of micro ways. I'm going to keep this simple, okay? The first one, and the way I started, is arbitrage. And what that is you rent an apartment, a house, whatever you can find, with permission from the owner and the city and the place that you're in, make sure it's legal. You will furnish it yourself and you will run it as an Airbnb. You will pay your rent as usual, like a regular tenant, and then you will reap the benefits of any profit after that. It's a great way to get started because you don't have to buy a property, but just keep in mind, rents are usually higher than a mortgage payment. So that's where you want to do the math, but it's a great low entry way to get started and exactly how I got started. The other way is to manage for investors. I don't have any arbitrage right now, 0, because I have passed that off and I only manage for other people and their properties. And that's been really fun for me. Now, if you're gonna get into management, be careful, because I don't do any long-term management, because you need a real estate license to do that. Oh my gosh, I do have a real estate license, but you know what I don't have? The ability to be a realtor and a property manager. You can't do both. So you can hire a property manager if you want to do that, or you can just do arbitrage or work for investors, which is what I do. The third way to do it is to purchase. That's a great way to do it. So you're doing your investment properties. You can combine a flip into purchasing short-term rentals. I think that's a really fun way to do it. You get a deal, you fix it up, because short-term rentals, you can get really creative with it. They're different than the house that you would live in. You want to have all these special things that bring people coming back, and not something that you would necessarily keep in your house long-term, but real fun to visit for vacation. Get your Airbnbs, your short-term rentals. Maybe you want to do long-term and get some long-term guests, and maybe those long-term guests, you want them to be house hacking, several roommates. Those are some options. And the other one is a flip, which you combine with any of those. So I hope that this is informative and has given you some ideas of ways that you can earn extra income with real estate. And this is what people do when they're buying properties. And then, you can get into commercial and do that kind of stuff too. You can get into building. It's limitless. You can get into land, you can get into mobile homes, you can get into parking lots and storage facilities, warehouses. The options are limitless, but those are kind of the big main ones. And so just nice starter set to plant the seed. Call your realtor. If you've had a life change recently and any of these options sound like something you want to investigate, call me and we can talk about it. You don't have to make a move, but go ahead and get educated. Let's start to find out what the options are, what the market is like, what the rental profits you're getting in that area are. We can find all that information for you. I'm Britt Olson. I would love to help you in this category. Investors are my very favorite people because I love business and I love helping. Call me. I want to work for you and your friends. If this is of any interest to you or any of your friends, share this video with them so that you can talk about it. And then call me so that we can talk about it and see what's possible in your area where you're looking. I'm in Charlotte, North and South Carolina, right on the line. A lot of interesting areas around here. Follow my channel. Have a great day.